Greetings, I'm Stachelin. My mic is really far from my face. Hopefully that didn't ruin the audio and I have to start this recording over again. That would really suck. Anyhow, I'm going to give you guys a bit of tips and tricks on building trees today. As I'm sure you could probably guess from all of these trees that I built, this is a recent build that I've been working on for my hardcore world that I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Stachelin, link in the description. Come check it out. But these are a bunch of redwood trees that I recently designed that I think look really good. It's not very many like different designs. It's really a lot of like the same ones just turned, and you can't necessarily tell the difference because it kind of just it kind of blends together really well. Aside from some of these areas where the forest is kind of thin, it's just nature of the area that I was working with. If I open up my map here, you can kind of see what exactly is going on. I might make a separate video for like detailing forests in general, but not this video. Today, I want to give you guys some tips on some trees. So we are going to head over to a super flat world so I can show that to you. Okay, welcome to a super flat world here quickly. Let me oh, that's not what I want. Just quickly make sure the sun doesn't turn off. Just set it like that. Okay. So, how are we going to design trees today? Well, I'm going to show you guys a couple of different designs and some different mythologies or methodologies. That's what I'm looking for. Methodologies as to how to make these trees. So let's just first start with like a pretty simple like oak tree. So we're going to grab a couple of different blocks and grab oak logs, oak wood. We're going to grab spruce stairs, fences, maybe gates. And then also I want mud walls. And I also want brown stained glass. And you guys will see why in a minute here. So first things first, you want to kind of just start off with how your trunk is going to look. And it could be as simple as just like putting one thing here, a fence, and then stacking up logs. It can really be that simple, or it could be a lot more extravagant. You can start coming out here with like some root systems, even dig it into the ground if you really want to. There's a lot of stuff you can do here, but for right now, we'll just kind of stick with this pretty simple, pretty basic version here. So then what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where exactly we want to go with our tree branches. Of course, you don't want your viewer to ever see this face of the log. You wouldn't see that in a normal tree, so you don't want to see that in your custom tree either. You can use walls, you can use stairs pretty interchangeably. I'm gonna go with walls because I kind of like the look better with walls than anything else. So there you go. That's a pretty basic tree starting design. Now the next step is to bring off smaller branches, because if you look at a tree, right, it starts with one line that splits into other lines, right? And those are your main branches, and then those branches split into more lines, right? Those are your smaller supporting branches. And they keep splitting into smaller and smaller lines until you get all the way down to the leaves. So, making sure you bring off your branches properly is pretty important. So we're just going to kind of come around here, split off some branches every once in a while. What you can do is also bring out fences and fence gates and stuff like that. Something like this. You can also just put a fence gate straight off of there if you want to. Do it that way. I used to do trees that way, but as I've grown in my tree building wisdom, so to speak, that sounds really facetious, or that's narcissistic, I think is maybe a better word for that. Pretty full of myself. Would be a better description. I kind of like doing it more this way, although that's a bit much. So maybe like that, and we'll throw in one or two over here as well, and we'll get this last one. You know what? For the heck of it, we'll put a gate on, like, this wall right here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just quickly make these a little bit thicker, just for the sake of this, just for the sake of adding a little bit of depth. And we're going to add some glass. Wherever there is a mud wall bottom face here, you should have a glass pane beneath it, and then connecting up, especially if it's something like this where there's a connection here, having a glass pane here is really important. It adds a surprising amount. This is something I learned from another YouTuber, by the name of Fwip. He is a significantly larger YouTuber, and there's a much better chance you've seen his videos than you've seen mine. So there's no point in me giving him a shout out, but he is a really cool YouTuber. I like watching his videos a lot. He is very, very entertaining. So, yeah, shout out that guy, I guess. So now that we've got our tree kind of set up here, it looks a little confusing, right? Now it is important that we pick the right leaves. Not really. You could use any style of leaf that you really want to. For this video, I'm going to go with the flowering azalea because they are one of my favorite leaves. Now, leaves can be really easy at the same time as they are really difficult. You need to remember to be sparing, and remember to stack them off of each other like this, which makes it really easy if you design them in creative, and then paste them into your world like a Lightmatica or something. Of course, not everybody has access to that. If you are on Bedrock or something where mods are not available to you, or if you have a PC that can't really handle a lot of mods, I am sorry. You are a little bit disadvantaged, or at least that's how I see it. Maybe you have a different method. The only reason I say it, it's really not a necessity. The only reason I say that it's easier to do this is because you can fly to do things like that, right? You can easily place leaves where you want them without like having to pillar up and deal with a bunch of scaffolding being in your way, and you can pretty easily fill in areas that you want to be filled in. It's really an ease of life thing. It's not a necessity thing, right? If that makes sense. So all you're going to really do is kind of just keep doing this stuff. You're going to throw leaves around. Remember to step back, look at it, reassess, come back, right? Now, flowering azaleas are a lot on the eyes. I would recommend what you do is mix these in with other leaves, like perhaps normal azalea leaves. And maybe I'll do that with a world edit here in a minute, just to make it look a little bit better on the eyes. That is another building tool that's really awesome for trees and whatnot, world edit. I recently just tried building trees with Axiom, which that build in the creative version of my hardcore world that we started the video in, there was going to be a massive custom tree that I tried making with Axiom, and it looked okay. The leaves needed a lot of work, which honestly, leaves are the hardest part of building the custom trees. I will be out with you. I will be upfront. I will be very upfront and honest. This is definitely the hardest part. But once you start to get good at it, once you understand what you're looking at, what you're looking for, and how things kind of work together, you will be in an infinitely better state to succeed at making your trees look realistic. And as you can see here, we're starting to fill in. That's a little bit thicker than I would like, so what I'm going to do is try and figure out where a leaf or two can break. And I think my answer is up here. It's okay to have gaps in your trees every once in a while, but just make sure when you're looking up and through, there's enough light getting through it. Because for some reason in Minecraft, leaves block light even though you can look through them like this. They're considered a full block that has the physical properties enough to block light. I don't know why the game does that, but it's just a part of a long laundry list of issues that Mojang's Minecraft has, and that Mojang, the devs, have not fixed. So, you know, pretty par for the course, I guess. So I'm just going to keep placing leaves here, just filling things in. like I said, remember, placing leaves off of each other and not placing leaves next to each other. Or attached to each other, for that matter. That's probably the better way to say it. Because all these leaves are next to each other. But placing them where they are not, like, always touching each other like this, you don't necessarily want a whole lot of that. And definitely not across your entire tree, because it makes it very difficult to use effectively. Or at least for this style of tree. If I could land on actual blocks, that'd be awesome. If you're building like those redwood trees that I was building for that creative design of a build, which a video will be coming out for that at some point. I'm not exactly sure when. I'll have that finished, edited. Maybe in sometime in August. I don't know. I'm getting sidetracked though. For trees like that though, and for pine trees, you can keep your leaves a little bit closer together. In fact, building them in discs almost kind of can kind of make some sense. Depending on your scale. Past a certain scale, you kind of have to build them like further apart, because otherwise you will just lose all light. And you have to leave them open. Or if you get so big like the custom tree that I was designing for that build, I actually ended up putting glowstone in the leaves of the trees to light it up a little bit, because it was so large that air pockets big enough were forming that they were entirely sealed off from the rest of the tree, and mobs were spawning in them. That is a very rare occurrence, of course. That is very unlikely to happen. If you're building trees that large, I would hope to God you have practice building other kinds of trees. Anyhow, here's our first little oak tree design. I think it looks pretty good. And this is a scale in which you should build most of your trees. Right like this. Now, if you want to build like a baby tree version of this, that is absolutely doable. That can be done. However, let me grab a wand. I misspelled that. Build a wand, grab a wand really quick here. And just go /up 1. And then we will mess around with the leaves here. And we want just kind of mix it a little bit, and that looks really good, right? Or at least I think it does. If you guys think think it doesn't, that's not proper English. If you guys think it doesn't, wow, I'm really struggling. If you guys think it doesn't look good, or you don't, the leaves are breaking. That's okay. I guess World of It's screwing me over. That's awesome. That's actually, I'm gonna have to fix that. Anyhow, I will fix that later. That's one design you can use. Of course, make sure you variate your trunk. Don't make all your branches the same. There's all kinds of ways you can do this. I'll actually show you another example here quickly of like a bigger oak tree. This is my old Season 5 Hardcore World. You may notice this area from the channel banner that I have on my YouTube channel that this is getting uploaded to. But this is another oak tree design. As you can see, it's a lot more block built up here. And you can see, like I said, I used to use a lot more gates in my tree designs. Now this tree, it has some issues. Its scaling is a little bit off here. But honestly, I still think they look pretty good. I think they're pretty decent, especially from like down here, where this is a college campus. For those of you who don't know, this is like what this is designed to be. So if you were to like study here, you can just sit right here, enjoy a nice like cup of coffee or tea or something while reading a book. It'd be a nice place to hang out. But yeah, I just kind of want to show this to you, show you that you can come a long way in designing trees, and show you that you can build at different scales and you can still apply some of the same principles. Like as you can see, these leaves here, there's a decent bit of gaps. You can see the branches, which you should be able to do, or shouldn't. Depends on what you like, really. If you don't like the look of it, you can do what I did with the first tree and make sure your branches are pretty well covered. But you can also have a little bit more exposed. It'll look a little bit more realistic, because when you're beneath the tree, you can see the branches. It's only from when you're outside that you see the leaves. The leaves are a facade to see the interior of the tree. Anyhow, I believe that is all for this video. If you guys want me to make future videos on different styles of trees, let me know. I will be more than willing to do that. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Tell me if you want to see more videos. Anyhow, that is all from me. Bye.